more evidence that Starfield is complete dog water. Not that we honestly need more evidence for that. I think everyone at this point completely knows and understands that that's fundamentally a truth of the universe. But more is always funnier because let's be real, the fact that people have enough power in them, they got one more in them to just continue to make fun of how bad Starfield is for almost a year straight. And I am the champion of that. I have more than 200 Starfield bad videos. Not to toot my own horn, but I am a Starfield bad aficionado. Even before the game dropped, I already called it shit because it was it was very blatantly visible from the 0.5-second cut up gameplay footage that Bethesda was even afraid to release that the game's gonna be a really, really bad. And so, well, you know what makes it even more funny that Starfield bad? When No Man's Sky completely destroys and humiliates it. That's right, boys. Not only is Starfield the worst thing since sliced bread, but No Man's Sky is also the best thing since sliced bread.
But the smaller, more niche sci-fi genre, while making good progress, could use a bit of a boost. Starfield could be that boost.
2 years ago, I said Starfield could be the tentpole of space games, the mainstream
Wait, it's already been 2 years? Oh, my bad. 2 years of Starfield bad.
release that could raise the tide for the entire genre. It had the studio, the timing, the hype.
The studio's dead, by the way.
I was wrong. No Man's Sky, in my opinion, has pretty handily taken that role. Starfield had a huge launch, but faded kinda quickly, and while it's still in the press, it's not exactly the most exciting news. It didn't push the genre forward, in my opinion. At the time, though, I had pointed to No Man's Sky as a success.
You know what's the funny part about that? In Todd Howard's opinion, it did push it forward. My god, is that man an idiot.
Successful comeback story, but in the last few years, Hello Games have only proved that they were in the middle of a much bigger story. And when I say it's now the biggest game in the genre, I don't just mean by the numbers. What we've seen since that video hasn't just been a bunch.
Oh, and by the way, there are other games that are like this, but concentrate on different aspects. No Man Dangerous, or what's it called? Dangerous something. Someone please comment it down. But it's Dangerous something, and there's another 4X space game. I forgot what it's called. I barely know anything about it, but people are also saying it's really good. So we have not only No Man's Sky, which is by far the leader in being an actually really good, fun space game, but we have 2 other games. The Elite Dangerous, there we go. That was one, and the other one I forgot. It's like a 4X something it calls it. Like X4? I don't remember. But it's also really good at what it does. And all of these games take the space aspect and they do something different with it. You know? Elite and Dangerous. Elite Dangerous. That's right. Elite Dangerous is like No Man's Sky, but it concentrates on completely different aspects of the game. So, again, there's not one game that completely humiliates Starfield's whole pathetic existence. There's actually 3 of them.
Updates. It's been a game that turned disaster into a decade-long success.
IGN giving it a 6 at the start. This game was a -5 at the start, okay? No Man's Sky is arguably, by the way, a bigger redemption story than Cyberpunk 2077, which is wild to think about, honestly.
Story, outlasting and outselling its rivals, and quietly becoming one of the biggest, most influential space games out there. So today, let's look at how No Man's Sky became the biggest in the genre, and how that success has allowed them to start looking elsewhere in the game industry. Thank you for coming to my Tomato Talk.
Starfield, from the makers of Skyrim and Morrowind, is at a level above these titles in terms of development efforts.
You know, just listening
I don't even know if that's true. That's probably not true.
back to that video in July of 2023, my biases are on full show. Bethesda was a childhood icon for me, the maker of some of the greats, a relatively large
That that's that's not Fallout 3. I don't think that's Fallout 3, is it? No, it's not Fallout 3. This is the DLC.
Of the Greats, a relatively large AAA company now working hand in hand with the maker of my default game console growing up. And they were making a space RPG. Was I unnecessarily hyped? I was, but like I said in that video, it wasn't just
Wait, this is an expansion that you have to pay money for to get this, by the way. Just saying. You can't even get this part of the game that's being shown for free. Okay? There's no way to make this game. There's gonna be people that lie and say, oh, with enough mods, it can be good. No, no. There's not. First of all, half those mods are gonna be paid slop. So you're gonna have to literally dish out something like 100 shillings for this game to be even remotely playable. And I seriously mean remotely. It's still not gonna be even remotely good, to be honest. But, at least it's gonna be slightly better than the base nothing. And that's gonna be for a lot of money. There's not even paid stuff that makes this trash good.
Starfield. It was the James Webb Space Telescope. It was the Expanse series finale, which we will talk about a certain
The Expanse is great.
game here on the channel soon. And honestly, it was just a little desperation from a space game fan. It's been rough for space gamers in a time when you can find a good fantasy game by just pressing a letter on the Steam search page.
True, based in real.
Space gamers are looking for a return to the 80s, 90s, and even the 2000s, if you couldn't tell. While Starfield was a serviceable game with some fun sequences, interesting ideas for exploration, and engaging storylines,
There's no interesting things for exploration. Look at this.
storylines, it just
Oh, wait. Back a little bit. Okay. How does this fucking make sense to fully survey a world you need to scan the same shit 8 times? How does that make sense? What do you mean? Why? How does that make any sense? Please, someone explain to me like I'm 5.
ideas for exploration and engaging storylines, it just didn't feel
There were no engaging storylines. And there's not a single standout quest in Starfield. People are gonna probably say, how about the Tethermore quest line? It's stupid. It's stupid. Stop. It's not really good. The Tethermorph horror sequence is just random MacGuffins, okay? It's probably by far one of the best quests in the game, but the reality is it's just bad. It's just darkness, and you know that there's a monster that's gonna be hard to kill. But the reality is, you're supposed to encounter it at some point, and then all the horror leaves because it's not actually even remotely scary. It's actually really bad.
connected together through space as much as just in it. It was a perfectly fine RPG, it just didn't feel like the game that could represent the genre, and certainly not influence it in a particular direction. And while it struggled to maintain its player base and create more content for them to enjoy, it was not alone. Star Citizen has had immense success, but finds itself dipping into new practices to do so. Elite Dangerous has
Oh, look at that. That was Loki poo.
started selling ships through the use of a special in-game currency. Dual Universe just shut off its servers, and Kerbal Space Program 2 has had a rough couple years.
Kerbal Space Program is dead, by the way. I constantly forget to talk about this, but Kerbal Space Program is officially dead. I'm pretty sure they're officially, the development officially has stopped while it's early access.
While there were a few standouts in the space games realm, one project that has been around since 2016, admittedly going through its own issues at the time, actually saw profitability nearly double year over year in 2022 without releasing a paid update. The sheer presence of No Man's Sky, the story that got it to where it is, and its sneaking ability to remain the torchbearer for the space games category all make a lot of sense at this point. Let me explain. Can you think of a game with a more raw story? This game was a victim of corporate overhype, dragging the creator down with it in one of the worst game launches we had seen at the time.
Easily. I'm not sure which one was worse, No Man's Sky or Cyberpunk, when it released. I mean, No Man's Sky wasn't so much on rails, so you didn't... Well, it was horrible, but it still didn't feel that bad, I guess. It has to be Fallout 76. It has to be Fallout 76. If you missed Fallout 76, I was there. I was dead in the fucking trenches day one, lads. Fallout 76 bugs were so absolutely horrid, so absolutely godforsakenly awful, that you could not go a single 3 minutes without encountering a game-breaking bug that completely ruined your experience, immersion, and everything else. I am not kidding. It was a miracle if you held after the 2 minute mark of not encountering something bugged in that game when it released. And by the way, a lot of Bethesda fanboys are going to say, "Oh yeah, but Fallout 76 is good." It's a lie. It's not good. Don't buy it. Don't fucking play it. It's bad. It's still absolute slop. The people playing it just really, really like it. That's pretty much it, and that's not a good thing necessarily. So don't fall for that. Everything Bethesda touches turns to shit. That's just the reality of life.
I even tried to get my own refund, but played for too long and missed the window, but you can bet I was looking. It was an awful time for everybody involved, and it took years of regular free updates for the game to get back to where it was supposed to be feature-wise at launch. But when it didn't stop. There has been a major update virtually every year since then, and they've never charged
True.
a dime more than the game's price to access them all. That's it. They just don't monetize their existing player base in any other way. And by maintaining their own game engine and building in new technologies as they
Okay, this again, I have talked about this before, but that is a slight critique that you can do about No Man's Sky, and that is the fact that this just looks oversaturated with stuff, doesn't it? Because it is. I think No Man's Sky would, well, have an amazing time for people like me and a lot of others if you just kind of desaturated slightly the stuff. Make, finding something a bit more special than just, oh, it's right around the corner. You know? This is a perfect example. You're in space, but for some reason, space that's supposed to be empty is filled with shit. A little bit like counterintuitive and slightly not great. Again, a minor complaint. The biggest one is combat, obviously, but other than that, it's fine. And some balancing issues, like people starting to play this game and finding accidentally a ship that they can take that's like literally 20 something that you should have only 20 hours in, and they just one shot everything for the next 20 hours of gameplay. That's kind of funny, but it does ruin the experience just a little bit. But the thing about No Man's Sky that is absolutely fantastic, though, because No Man's Sky in general is fantastic, is the infinity potential of it. This thing could be the Helldiver. Okay? I'm saying that sounds strange. Could be the Helldivers. No, it could be like Helldivers. If they just improve the combat. You could literally have whole planets of hives that you can bomb. You could have absolutely massive coalitions of space and, giant empires fighting each other. It would be amazing. And I mean, I honestly think No Man's Sky is moving in that direction slightly. With the big ships that you can now purchase, destroyers and whatnot that you can have, it's kind of getting there. It's getting bigger. And big is what you want in a space game.
building in new technologies as they go to update visuals, mechanics, and features, they can simply move along with the game industry, quietly identifying the features that work best in the genre and creating their own, looking at trending topics across media that may interest space game players and adding their own, looking for opportunities to capitalize on the current state of the industry and making it their own, all while keeping the team lean, independent, and heavily focused, a strategy that has resulted in another game currently seeing a successful launch right now.
Oh, and everyone's talking about Hollow Knight, eh?
The comeback story that follows this game, its ability to adapt and release completely free-to-play updates every year, and its reliable and dependable business model have blessed Hello Games with one of the most widely praised reputations in the industry, and almost certainly the largest player base on average of any space game. It also kept its head down, poking up to release an update, then sliding away until the next year, ready to make more noise. No need to keep quarterly interest or push monthly battle passes. It's just all been done very quietly. I thought Starfield would be the tentpole for the industry because it was popular.
You know what we need to stop in the games industry? Especially if you're a consumer, not like a developer. We need to stop with the bullshit that, oh, Starfield can be made into something good. With all the things that Starfield needs to change to actually be good, you're better off making a new game. You're better off making Starfield 2 if you want to make this game good at this point. Because making it good is literally the same as making a new game, honestly. The same thing can be applied to, like, Diablo 4 copers, who are saying, oh no, Diablo 4 is a great game, it can be easily made into some... No, it can't. No, it can't. They had literally 2 years to fucking make it, and they completely bricked every goddamn time. They just make it worse and worse with every expansion. You can't make a bad game good that easily. And when the game is this godforsakenly bad, you're better off just making a new game and saying that you fixed it. That's kind of easier.
I'll admit it. Skyrim set the stage, and the Fallout releases caused some hesitancy, but I genuinely thought Starfield would become a mainstay, at least able to stay above Space Engineers on the Steam concurrence, if we're talking about space games.
LOL.
It was naive of me to think that with Microsoft at the helm, and to overlook what really matters to people: easily accessible new gameplay. Starfield, unfortunately, as far as space games go, I don't think has introduced enough new gameplay. No Man's Sky, on the other hand, stays relevant across the industry, introducing new updates with new mechanics. It supports just about every major platform, runs natively on virtual reality headsets, actually making it a great showcase for the tech. It's a breeze for newcomers to get into, and its reputation truly does precede it. I know it seems like I'm just bagging on Starfield right now, but I genuinely did believe that it was going to have this position before.
I mean, there's no reason to not bag on Starfield. Bethesda has effectively also abandoned it. The updates are not coming. And even when Bethesda was updating the game, the updates were not coming. The bug fixes were usually not actually bug fixes, and nothing.
And I want to make clear why. I know a lot of players who return to No Man's Sky when there is an update, or every so often in between bouts away, because the gameplay can get old. I generally do this as well, but that back and forth motion of players from a game makes it spread like fire. It continuously reminds everybody that there is a game in the space exploration realm that provides a good all-around experience at low stakes that gets updated regularly. No Man's Sky may not beat others in maximum player count at any one point, but going by copies sold, it is actually possible that No Man's Sky, which hit 10 million copies 3 years ago, possibly 15 by now, may actually be ahead of Elite Dangerous Star Citizen's paid accounts and Starfield's standalone retail sales combined. And on
They did claim that Bethesda did claim that they had like 33 million players, but players is not buyers. A lot of people, and by the way, you need to remember one thing. The majority of people were playing on Steam. Because every single Bethesda fanboy knows one thing, that the mods are coming on Steam. The mods are on PC, not Xbox. So the majority, the super chunk of the player base is still playing on Steam. And also, for a different video, we checked Xbox's current list of played games. Starfield was like page 3? I think it was page 3. But anyway, roughly the 30 most popular Xbox game has only, at best, minimum 3K average players playing at any given time, maximum 10K. And Starfield being in the third page, or even second page, literally means that there's maybe couple of hundred people playing it on Game Pass. So again, the majority of people are playing on PC. And you could actually do the Battle Pass, not Game Pass, not Battle Pass, Game Pass thing on Steam also. So Starfield has not sold shit. And the proof that no one likes Starfield and it doesn't sell well is also its expansions. Bethesda released the Bounty Hunter expansion, which was $20. $20 for roughly 30 minutes of gameplay. I'm not kidding. I'm fucking not kidding. It was roughly 30 to 1 hour of gameplay. It was shit. And no one really bought that. And at the same time, they really banked a lot, as I can tell, on the fact that the mods are gonna save it. So they were doing the other expansion thing, the Hunger Games puzzle fucking solver that insulted people's intelligences. But if you're a Bethesda fanboy, that alone insults your existence, not only intelligence, obviously. And that thing was $10, I think. I think it was $10 for something like an hour or 2 hours of gameplay, and it was, I mean, it was the best that Starfield has to offer by far, but it's still below average slop. The expansion Shattered Space was given to pretty much almost all players who bought Starfield for free. Hilarious, I know. And barely anyone chose to play it. No, seriously, the numbers, you can't even see. You can see a small blimp like this in the player base when the expansion came out. Bethesda knew that no one is even gonna buy mods for that shit. That it's not even worth making mods. Again, 2 mods, each $10 and $20, drop in a time span of like a month or something, and after nothing. That's because the sales collapsed. No one wants to buy this. Starfield is effectively completely abandoned.
Player count, it does continue to maintain the highest average, at least on Steam. So while it's not the prettiest game, it doesn't have the best stories or character interactions, and it's not the technological frontrunner. It maintains a regular active space game.
This is not supposed to be a story game, but somehow it has arguably still a better story than Starfield.
Enthusiast community, and it captures the attention of the greater industry in a pretty unique fashion. While it is my own opinion, I do believe No Man's Sky is influencing the genre and playing the part as that space game tentpole I was looking for the whole time, keeping the community healthy and fed in between the bigger projects that are sure to start stealing more of our attention very soon. Games like Exodus and The Expanse of
Exodus is gonna be so questionable.
Osiris Reborn. And while you can subscribe here to learn more about those games later on, I want to finish today showing you just how healthy Hello Games actually is. Not just from the game perspective, but also a financial one.
I have not heard about their financial situation, but I mean, I never cared because I'm assuming it's actually good. Because you're, if it was bad, they would at least ask like $5 for you know, thing for No Man's Sky DLC, but they're giving it away for free, and they have been giving it away forever. Which means their situation is kind of good. Okay, there's 2 reasons why they would start asking, by the way, for money in this situation. 1, the money is drying up. 2, they need more money because they're gonna make something big.
We all know Hello Games is working on another game, Light No Fire, set to simulate an entire planet complete with different biomes, entire oceans, ships that
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. This sounds awesome.
need to be crewed, dragons that can be ridden, and endless land to explore. We also know the technology that goes into this game finds its way back into No Man's Sky. But did you know why
Also, I know that
this is happening?
because it's the same engine.
About 2 months before announcing Light No Fire in 2023, Hello Games was filing their 2022 financial report. They reported a near doubling of profit year over year at £33 million on revenue of £40 million. That's
pretty good.
on top of cash reserves they had been sitting on totaling at about £138 million. For a company of around 46 to 50 people at the time, they were flush. However, they did pay out a £120 million dividend in 2023 to Sean Murray, the owner of the company, bringing that cash pile down to £34 million.
Okay, that's reasonable. Not gonna hate it. He did amazing job.
But also signaling confidence in the long-term health of the game, I think. In the meantime, while other companies were cutting jobs after the bloat of the pandemic and struggling to make money, Hello Games was slowly adding more to their team and sitting pretty comfortably. Even with a 29% revenue drop to £28 million, they still cleared $21 million in profit, a 74% profit margin.
Oh, I'm slightly confused because these numbers don't actually... I actually don't know what's happening. Could it be the new game comes out and they use a lot of the money that they, a lot of the flow through to actually create the stepping stones for the new game? And after that, the next... No, it still doesn't make sense because how?
I think they've proven their model is healthy and sustainable and not reliant on artificial hype cycles. And with no outside publisher driving their decisions to make more money, monetize their player base, or rush a launch, they made probably the best possible play there was. They stepped into the fantasy genre. I hadn't really thought about how large a success this could be for them before now. We've seen games like Valheim and Minecraft take the industry by storm. And now that I look at it, I'm not really sure I see a reason Light No Fire can't release to do the same. With the existing reputation, no...
Well, that's true, but I mean, I was mostly here. I'm not gonna lie. For the Starfield bad, No Man's Sky good. The future, it is a little bit too early to actually talk about, in my opinion. But we can speculate. I think it's gonna be good. I think the development on No Man's Sky is gonna continue on. We could actually expect a paid expansion for No Man's Sky to drop at some point if they need more funds or something like that, because development is not cheap, obviously. And that would be fine. I mean, we're gonna see what happens, but Hello Games, with their current track record of absolute disaster to We're So Back Boys, and being We're So Back Boys for literally multiple years in a row now, it's pretty good. It's looking pretty good. What can I honestly say? Anyway, that was... Which one are we on? Oh no. We are on Space Tomato Gaming. 10 out of 10. Bye.